Hey, we're going to talk Suicide Squad again. This time we're going to talk about Digger Harkness, aka Captain Boomerang. Now, in the cameo in Suicide Squad, we see the Flash apprehend Captain Boomerang in some very interesting circumstances, which we'll go through in a minute. But in the comics, this actually occurred as well. Captain Boomerang, as you can see here, this issue came out in the Flash comics back in 1950s. I believe it was 1950s, 1960s. And this was issue number 117 of the Flash. And Captain Boomerang was challenging the Flash. The Flash found out about Captain Boomerang in this comic. Now, I don't want to go into too much detail about the comic, but suffice it to say that Captain Boomerang tricked the Flash the first time he met him, and then the second time he met him, Captain Boomerang was actually committing a crime, as will be seen here, where he actually is stealing some jewelry from some sort of jewelry place, okay, using a boomerang, because Captain Boomerang, he has that boomerang effect. But in the end, the Flash catches him and also his accomplices and knocking them out as he's moving at super speed, which reminds us a little bit of what actually happened in his encounter with Digger Harkness in the movie, in Captain Boomerang, aka Digger Harkness, where in the movie, Digger Harkness, he's stealing something as with an accomplice, so he has an accomplice in the movie as well, and he backstabs the accomplice by knocking him out with a boomerang, okay? But then the Flash just suddenly shows up there, as you see right there, and that's when Captain Boomerang gets knocked out by the Flash, who pushes into him and knocks him out. And why this is very interesting is because there's actually a comic done by Jeff Johns and Scott Collins called Brightest Day, which actually gives the backstory of Captain Boomerang, just like in the 1960s, 1959 issue, the 117th issue of The Flash, where they give a little backstory on Digger Harkness as well. And in this, you also have that same story where Captain Boomerang is also caught by the Flash. There's his little backstory there, and then you have where he gets caught by the Flash here, I believe it is. So guess what he's doing? Captain Boomerang is also robbing a place. I'm trying to find where that is. Here he is. He's robbing. It looks like a jewelry store again. He's a jewelry thief, and you can tell. Even in Suicide Squad, you saw he was robbing jewelry, and here he is robbing jewelry again. But in this case, the Flash appears on the scene and again plows into him, knocks him out. He does not know what really happened. All he knows was some kind of red blur. And that's pretty much the accounts. It's very much like the movie. The only difference is he went into prison, and then from there he was broken out and he joined the Rogue Gallery, okay, or the Rogues. But in the Suicide Squad, he goes into prison, and then he goes into Belle Reve prison, where he is recruited as a Suicide Squad member. Now, there's a lot of interesting things about Captain Boomerang from the comics, and he has this boomerang effect, not just with boomerangs, but with himself. And in the movie, Captain Boomerang also acted in a sort of boomerang sort of way, and when he departed from the squad, when Colonel Rick Flag told him they were free to go, and then he kind of boomerang back into the squad after there was a resolution the squad was on a mission. So Captain Boomerang tends to do something like that very often. But I just wanted to draw your attention to the cameo and how it was very much like the comics. By the way, this comic, Brighter Day, by Jeff Johns and Scott Collins, this comic is actually the issue of the comic is actually issue number, this was done in 2011, DC Comics of course, and the issue was issue number 7, so you can always go check out that comic. Jeff Johns really writes some pretty interesting comics, and the illustration of the comics was really well done, I would have to say. But I think this one, this particular Captain Boomerang is very close to the Digger Harkness we saw on the screen. Pretty much, very much more like him. And it's very interesting how much the movie pulled from the comics. So I just thought I'd share that with you guys. You guys have a great one.